In recent years, we've had the make sure you're wearing earplugs lecture drilled into our heads. The science behind hearing damage is now widely known, and we pretty much all understand that long-term hearing damage is irreversible. So why does my title ask the question of, do they hurt more than they help when we know we don't want to damage our hearing? I'll tell you why in a minute. Today we're going to talk about a few different kinds of earplugs and ear protection, and I'll even include EQed examples of a song to best demonstrate the differences in muffling between these different types of ear protection. The truth is, the answer to that title question can go both ways, so let's dig into this topic and figure out how to best treat our musician ears. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm excited about this because I think this is a really interesting and useful and practical topic. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. I hope this video really helps you out. I'm all about helping you become a better drummer through a lot of the non-glamorous topics that are crucial towards us growing as musicians. So I've got a lot of different earplugs and in-ears and in-ear and over-ear protection here that I want to show you today, and that we're going to compare by listening to EQed examples of the song, showing you how that song will sound like through speakers if you're sitting in front of those speakers wearing that specific ear protection. Before we do that, I want to go through a brief pros and cons list. So kind of talking about the cons of wearing ear protection, not being able to really hear the nuance of what you're playing. Maybe you're playing something light, something intricate, and you're listening to something else light and intricate that another musician is playing. You need to be able to pick up on those details. When you can't, that's not good because you end up being lost and in your own world, which can result in some other problems as well. Growing our cons list, it can result in playing too loud. Sometimes wearing too much ear protection in a lighter playing situation can result in overplaying and being totally oblivious to dynamics, which is not good. We've still got to be able to play with good dynamics as drummers. We've got to be able to play quietly and hear every detail of what we're playing. So our main issue here is that earplugs can lead to less than ideal musicianship because it can cause us to be oblivious to what's going on around us and cause us to overplay. But we can actually solve those problems if we've got the right kind of ear protection. If you've got good earplugs, good in-ears, whatever, that are muffling frequencies in a good musical kind of way, and number one, you'll still be able to hear well decades from now. You're not going to lose your hearing. Number two, you'll still be able to perceive accurate dynamics and nuance. You'll be much more comfortable in general. You're not going to have anything hurting your ears. Your ears will not become worn out. You'll actually have more energy throughout the gig because your ears aren't getting tired and you're not getting that headache just from all the noise. So you'll actually be able to play more musically for the whole night. As you can see here, certain earplugs can harm more than they help, but others can be very beneficial, and it is important that we wear the right kind of earplugs while we're playing. So having said all that, let's go through this list of some different basic kinds of ear protection, and we'll compare these, we'll talk about them, and we'll see what the best solution to this whole question is. So the first most standard kind of ear protection are just those foam plugs. I don't even have any of those because they're terrible and I don't use them, and I didn't go out and buy any because I don't want to spend like $3 buying these just to make this video because they're terrible earplugs that I'm not going to use. And really nobody should use those playing music because those create all the problems on our cons list. Quickly skipping over that kind of ear protection, let's move on to something that's okay at least. Just standard cans, like that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or something, that you might wear while you're chainsawing or while you're cutting wood or whatever. I've got these that are made by 3M, and so they're really basic. I think they're 25 dB reduction, and they're pretty cool. You put those on and you look ridiculous and you get really sweaty around your ears, but they do help reduce a lot of frequencies without leaving things totally muffled, so you can still hear some things. But these still are definitely not my number one recommended kind of ear protection. Here's what they sound like. And here's another kind of ear protection. These are my Shure in-ears. These in-ears are great. They're pretty basic. They're just dual driver, nothing fancy, but they're a very flat response. I can hear everything as the producer of that music intended for it to be heard. And they're great in-ears. But if I'm not using them as in-ears, if I don't have audio coming into them, they really don't make for great ear protection because they have a very good seal, very good isolation, which results in bringing outside noise way down almost too much, kind of like those foam plugs. And so I really don't like just using these as ear protection. Here's what they sound like. But now these last two, I kind of like both of these. Well, I really like one of them. I've used both of these for a long time. These first ones are they're a brand called Etymotic or Etymotic. Somebody can correct me if I'm pronouncing them wrong. It does have a dash over the O, so it probably means Etymotic. I used these a long time ago. I had them a long time ago, and they do work pretty well. What's interesting is that because these are actual musician earplugs, that's what they're intended to do, they don't overly muffle. They bring things down to a reasonable level so you can still hear what's going on around you without being totally deaf and oblivious like we talked about with the foam plugs. So these are still a pretty good option. Here's what these sound like. This last type, they're called the Earasers. I actually bought these 2.5, almost 3 years ago, and they've lasted a really long time, and they're really great. They seal pretty well, but they don't overly muffle things. They actually do a very good job of bringing down the overall level, which is what they're advertised to do, and I noticed that they do that pretty evenly. So here's what these sound like. You can, we'll compare side by side these with the Etymotic so you can really see what that difference is and why I like the Earaser so much. What I've noticed is that if there's a good seal, that seal actually helps bring down some of the lower end. My same theory there about the seal also is true with the cans versus the Shure in-ears. The Shure in-ears actually bring down everything pretty evenly, but the cans on the other hand bring down none of the lows or even the low mids. So you'll be able to hear bass really well, but it'll really wipe out a lot of the vocal guitar stuff because of those upper mids that are gone. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'll try to answer things as best as I can, but also tell me what you use. I'm interested in hearing what everybody else is using, what other kinds of ear protection are out there that I haven't even heard of, especially if it's economical. And if you haven't subscribed already, but this video brought you some value and some good information, I hope you will subscribe. I hope you'll join this community of all of us who are working on becoming better drummers, even if it's just by wearing the right ear protection so we can play better and really be the best we can be on any gig, any musical situation. So guys, as always, thank you for watching. Big thanks to my subscribers for watching my videos. I will see you guys next week.